Hi, I'm Joe M. Turner, and we're sitting here in a park outside Atlanta, Georgia, and penguinmagic.com has asked me to speak to you today about the idea of customizing what it is that you do to meet the needs of a specific client. So I'll be happy to share with you a couple of ideas about that, but I want to position that question in the larger sense of branding yourself in a way that's meaningful to the group that you want to reach. And that is largely about credibility. So before you can talk about how am I going to customize what it is that I do to meet the specific needs of this audience, I think the first question you want to answer for yourself is, am I the right fit for this particular market to start with? For example, I come from a corporate background before Magic, management and leadership and things of that nature in consulting organization. I will never be a David Kay or a Ken Scott or someone who is able to translate into a performing environment in that way at the level that they do. And so if I spend my time trying to think, well, how can I customize what I do for this market, I might make some headway, but I really don't have the credibility as a performer to excel and really deliver for those clients to start with. So no amount of customization is going to make me into what they really need. And that's true no matter which direction of Magic. You probably have someplace where you're the most comfortable or the most experienced, or where your age, your background, your education, your point of view really resonate with a particular element or a particular component of the overall market. And so what's important is to start by finding where you fit in that way. Once you've got that, what you've given yourself is the ability to understand the people's needs in that market in a way that you wouldn't understand in another market. And that gives you a leg up on other people who might be trying to sort of just get by in that market, but don't really have the credibility to be there. They're not living it. They haven't lived it. And so number one, go to a market where you've got some credibility and you can understand what the client is talking about when they say what they need. And you understand it from a business perspective. Now, if you want to take what you do and customize it, then you look at the effects that you have and you look at the messages that the client is trying to deliver at that event. If it's a trade show, if it's a product launch, if it's some kind of welcome ceremony, if it's a grand opening of a company that does something in a market that you serve, it could be a school, it could be a preschool, let's say, or it could be high school, or it could be something at a university, a club, or a fraternity. There's all these different kinds of markets that require different understandings for what those markets or what those audiences are looking for. So you take your list of effects or the things that you know you're good at, and you look for the relationships between the messages they're trying to communicate and what it is that those effects represent. And it's not about just going through and saying, well, this silk represents so-and-so and this box represents something else. I mean, you have to go deeper than that. The effect that you're performing represents something that levitates. If it's levitating, that would relate to something that is maybe rising. Maybe it has something to do with a price that's going up or a quality that's going up, or it has something to do with elevating attitudes in an organization, or raising the level of excitement about an event, or raising the excitement about a new school that's opening. And so you see how that one magical effect translates into some different kinds of messaging for different kinds of clients. That's one example, and I'm sure you could think of many more. Maybe cards have something to do with gambling. Well, if you're doing a gambling demonstration, does that have something to do with the question of risk? It may have something to do with the question of risk in one sense. It may have something to do with the question of a jackpot. If you're working in a situation where they're trying to do a Vegas theme, it's a natural fit. But even outside of that, you may be working with a client who they're trying to give the idea that they've really nailed it and they've hit the jackpot. Well, there's all kinds of gambling analogies that could be drawn from that. So the creativity that you're going to bring to this is to, number one, honestly assess yourself and where you are a real, credible fit in the market. And that you have either the experience or credentials to make yourself a realistic solution to problems in that kind of audience. That's going to elevate you above all the others who don't. And once you're in there, now you use your own creativity as a writer or a thinker or performer, or just as an artist, to connect the dots between the effects that you have and the messages that they're trying to communicate to the audience. And you don't want it to be too hokey and too much of a stretch, but some of the examples that we've talked about should get you on your way. So there you go, some ideas on being a credible performer in a market and using that to your advantage in customizing material for your clients. I hope that helps. Thanks.